Hey you, getting ready for more Andor. With the next season coming, we thought it'd be perfect to really explore someone who quietly became a vital part of the early rebellion, Cinta Kaz.
Exactly, Cinta Kaz, yeah. You see her and there's this immediate sense of depth, even though she's pretty reserved.
Totally.
So this deep dive is all about understanding what makes Cinta such a compelling figure in, well, this whole corner of the Star Wars galaxy.
Right. And we're basically drawing from what we've seen in the show so far. The idea is to give you the essential insights.
Yeah, whether you've paused every frame or you're just discovering how brilliant Andor is.
Okay, so Cinta Kaz, we know she's human, plays this significant role in the rebellion's start. And one of the most fundamental things we learn is this terrible personal tragedy.
Yeah, the loss of her entire family. Killed by stormtroopers.
Brutal.
And what's really striking about this foundational trauma is maybe how little she emotes about it outwardly. It suggests this really deep well of grief that's been channeled into, I don't know, a kind of steely resolve.
Yeah. So it's not just politics for her.
No, I mean, it feels like it's this deeply internalized drive, It shapes her actions in ways we probably don't even fully see. It makes her dedication feel less like simple vengeance and more like this unshakable commitment.
That unwavering commitment really comes through when we look at her relationship with Vel Sartha.
Right.
Vel comes from such a different background, doesn't she? Privilege connected to Mon Mothma. What do you think created that bond between them?
It's fascinating, isn't it, how shared purpose can just bridge these huge divides.
Yeah.
Despite their totally contrasting origins, Cinta's probably coming from hardship, Vel's from relative ease, they both end up drawn to Luthen Rael's rebellion.
And this shared desire to fight the Empire.
Exactly. And maybe Cinta's grounded pragmatism, which probably comes from her experiences, kind of anchors Vel's maybe more idealistic view of rebellion.
That makes sense. And maybe Vel's understanding of those privileged circles, the resources, gives Cinta a different perspective.
Yeah, a different lens on the enemy, strategic advantages maybe. It feels like a dynamic of mutual need, as much as shared belief.
And their involvement with Luthen, that brings us straight to the Aldhani mission, right?
Yeah.
About 5 years before the Battle of Yavin, such a pivotal event.
Oh, huge.
This is where we really see Cinta's capabilities and the team dynamics under serious pressure. What really stood out for you about her role there?
Well, several things. First, her initial skepticism about Cassian just showing up.
Right, him being thrown in last minute.
Yeah, it says a lot about how much she values trust, the established dynamics in their little group. She's not easily swayed. And then that immediate practicality she shows when she treats Andor's blaster burn.
Oh yeah, no wasted words.
Just efficient action, a really matter-of-fact warning. It tells you so much about her focus.
Right, and even before the main heist, those little moments are so telling. Like Skeen's quick assessment of her.
Stone cold and fearless.
Exactly. And then the observation that she's already sharing a blanket with Vel, it kind of hints at both her perceived toughness and, the closeness of her bond with Sartha.
Definitely. And then you see Cinta testing Andor on the Aldhani language. She's thorough, right? Making sure everyone is prepped for the mission specifics.
That language thing is crucial, actually.
It really is. It shows this meticulous level of preparation, a commitment to actually integrating into the local situation.
And then her reaction when she finds out Vel didn't tell her about Andor being a mercenary.
Oh yeah, she was clearly not happy. It just underscores her belief in trust and honesty within the team, especially when the stakes are life and death.
Suggests maybe a vulnerability under that tough exterior. She relies on that trust.
I think so.
And even that small moment around the campfire, with Vel kind of subtly positioning herself between Cinta and Andor when the canteen gets passed.
Hints at protectiveness, right? A quiet tenderness there.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the heist itself. This is where Cinta is really operating under just extreme pressure. She and Vel have this critical role at the Aldhani Dam.
Absolutely critical. And their approach is just a masterclass in stealth and coordination.
Hiding, timing the radio checks perfectly.
They function like a seamless unit, and Cinta's sharp thinking when those patrolling soldiers show up.
Oh man, that scene.
Silencing Vel, stopping her from drawing her weapon too soon. It just showcases her amazing situational awareness, keeping her cool when things could have gone sideways catastrophically.
Totally nail-biting. And then, under the cover of the Eye of Aldhani, That synchronized dive into the water, the tough climb up the dam.
Yeah, shows real physical and mental toughness, resilience.
And even when Vel hesitates for that split second, when they're confirming the mission plan.
It's Cinta who gives her that little nudge, right? Subtly but firmly pushes her forward, shows her decisive nature again.
Exactly. And that decisiveness gets even more stark in the tower base room.
Oh yeah, the standoff with Colonel Pettigar threatening the child.
Cinta doesn't flinch.
Nope. Her swift action to, well, eliminate the threat and then immediately take control of the hostages. It's a really stark illustration of her willingness to do what's necessary for the mission.
It is a really morally complex moment, too. Shows the lengths she'll go to.
For sure. And then that brief exchange between them, just before they split up.
Tell me you'll be all right.
I'll be fine, go! So few words, but it says so much, doesn't it?
Yeah, the vulnerability in their connection, but also that absolute commitment to the goal.
And right after that, Cinta's just calmly managing crucial comms with Nemec, then Alkenzi Wing Command, demonstrates this cool competence, in a high-pressure technical role.
The fact that she's trusted with that critical communication link.
Yeah.
Encrypted channels, tactical stuff. It says a lot about Lucan's trust in her technical skills.
And her ability to handle that high-stakes info flow, which, again, just underlines her adaptability, her diverse skill set.
And even the small detail, her disguising herself in a garrison uniform to get near the Nazma Brani temple.
It's all about blending in, being practical, executing the plan flawlessly.
So the heist works, but wow, the repercussions are huge. The ISB investigation ramps up.
Big time.
And Cinta and Vel get separated. Vel goes off to Coruscant.
And Cinta gets tasked with that really grim assignment. Silence Cassian.
Oof. That feels incredibly stark, even for someone described as stone cold.
It really does.
Thinking about her past trauma and then this kind of task.
Yeah.
How do you think Luthen Rail saw her potential? What made him bring her in and think she was right for this?
Well, I think it speaks volumes about Luthen, right? He understands the kind of dedication that's born from loss.
Right.
And he knows the ruthless necessities of building a rebellion against an enemy like the Empire.
He probably saw that unwavering commitment in her.
Exactly. A willingness to put the cause first, even over personal feelings, when she had to. Her past experiences would have given her this resilience, this focus, that made her ideal maybe, even if morally conflicted, for that kind of job.
And their reunion on Ferrix really throws that into sharp relief, doesn't it? The different ways they process things.
Yeah, Vel is clearly looking for that personal reconnection, while Cinta is just laser-focused on the fight.
That conversation is so telling. Vel's like, haven't we been apart long enough?
And Cinta's reply is just so blunt. It's not about us. Ouch. But it really underlines her single-mindedness.
And her decision to stay alone on Ferrix for surveillance, because two people would attract too much attention. It's purely pragmatic, strategic.
Totally. And her work there is so meticulous, watching the Imperial movements at the Hotel Rix, spotting core of the ISB agent undercover.
Right, then strategically taking that job at Nicholas.
Yeah, so she can monitor both Corv and the Andor place. It just showcases her dedication to gathering intel, anticipating threats in this hostile zone.
And even telling Vel about Marva's death. She gets the implications, right? She knows Cassian might come back because of that news.
It's fascinating how she balances that personal connection to Vel with her absolute commitment to the mission. Must be a constant internal tension, I imagine.
And then Data Ramiro shows up on Ferrix, raising the stakes even higher, but Cinta stays locked on her objectives.
Yeah, it's not until Marva's funeral and the riot that kicks off.
But we see her take that direct, forceful action again, tracking and eliminating Core.
Swift and decisive, just like in the tower.
And the way she and Vel deal with the aftermath, it's almost clinical.
That quiet efficiency, handling the consequences, it just, again, underscores their shared commitment. It's all about the cause. There's this practicality to their dedication that's really striking.
Okay, let's circle back to Skeen's initial take.
Yeah.
Stone cold and fearless. Probably the toughest one here.
Yeah.
Based on everything we've talked about. I mean, that seems like a pretty decent first read, right?
It does capture that formidable exterior, yeah.
But is there more? I mean, we see those fleeting moments, mostly with Vel, that hint at deeper emotions under the surface.
Absolutely. While those moments with Vel give us glimpses of a more personal side, her defining characteristic does seem to be that resolute dedication.
Prioritizing the rebellion, even if it means personal sacrifice, we're facing these really morally gray areas.
That seems to be what drives her, yeah. Putting the mission above pretty much everything else.
And her skills are just formidable. Medical know-how, Fluent in Aldhani, deadly with a blaster, diving, abseiling.
She's seriously capable, a highly skilled operative. And her practical approach to Gyu in disguises just emphasizes that resourcefulness, her adaptability.
She's not just tough, she's incredibly competent, prepared.
Definitely.
It's also interesting thinking about some of the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Varada Sethu, the actress.
Yeah, she talked about playing Cinta as someone with this quiet but powerful presence, right? Kind of subverting expectations about women and violence.
And Tony Gilroy, the showrunner, emphasizing that he wanted Cinta and Vel's relationship to feel authentic, like a real connection within the rebellion, not just performative.
And you feel that, I think. It feels grounded, integral to who they are.
Yeah. And those real-world inspirations mentioned Eileen McDonald's book, Shoot the Women First, the idea of surviving genocide. They add another layer, maybe, to understanding the trauma and resilience baked into her character.
Gives it even more depth. And filming in the Scottish Highlands for Aldhani, I mean, that certainly added to the whole vibe, right? That remote, challenging terrain.
Totally. Okay, so as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into Cinta Kaz, what are the absolute crucial insights you think that listeners should take away as we look towards Season 2 of Andor?
Okay. Key takeaways. I'd say her incredible resilience, forged by that awful loss, her almost, absolute dedication to the rebellion's cause.
Unwavering.
Yeah, unwavering. The complex, often really subtle relationship with Vel, and just how capable she is, how often she's probably underestimated.
She operates with that quiet intensity.
Exactly. A real force to be reckoned with, working in the shadows of the early rebellion.
That's a fantastic summary. And it really makes you think, doesn't it? How will Cinta's past, which is so deeply ingrained, keep shaping her actions? And the rebellion's future in Season 2?
Yeah, and what other hidden depths does she have? What haven't we seen yet?
Definitely something to mull over.
Absolutely. So maybe go back and rewatch Andor with Cinta in mind. Pay attention to those subtle moments that focus.
Good call.
And of course, stay tuned for more deep dives right here. We'll keep exploring these fascinating characters and events from this vital slice of the Star Wars galaxy as we all eagerly wait for the next chapter.